Namaskar, everyone, and welcome to our meditation today. And we'd like to provide or co-create a global field of energy through our meditation. Today, I want to take you into subtle body awareness. This is extremely important if you're going to shift the consciousness, if you're going to deepen your centering, and if you're going to learn more about the energy body. So I'm going to guide you into the energy body. First of all, you understand the gross body. This is what your senses report to you, that you exist in a gross body. But the perceiver within is not gross. That which is perceiving is not gross. That which is perceiving is a conscious being that is not the body. Body is simply a vehicle. Though across the world today we may not all agree that we are not the body, but in the future this will become the science and the truth and the reality, that we are not the body. Ancient science has told us for years and years, or ancient wisdom, ancient science do, that we are not the body, that we are a conscious being. And the center of consciousness is certainly not physical. And so our identity is so based on physicality because of what we've been taught, how we've been educated, and how we have treated the body. So today in our meditation, I want to take you to more subtle body awareness. This is a big transition in consciousness when you experience it. And in fact, my true spiritual awakening began in a shift from body consciousness to subtle body awareness. That was such a dramatic shift that I can still remember in detail the experience of it. But that shifted my consciousness completely. And then I began to explore subtle body awareness. I would have never believed unless the shift happened. And the shift happened in an ashram in India, a spiritual community, where the people there were practicing this awareness. So I know that it can be caught from those who are more evolved, or those who are experiencing this shift, that they can help us simply by presence and by association to awaken our own. So we souls in a human experience, we catch this from those who are more evolved. And this is experiencing or catching by association when we are ready and receptive. So those of you who are with me, those of you who have been following me, would have had that shift from body consciousness to subtle body awareness. This makes all the difference. Now, in the 40 days that's coming up, I'm going to spend quite a bit of time in trying to get you to shift from physical body to subtle body, and to anchor yourself in a more subtle body awareness. One may call it energy awareness, or one may call it prana awareness or chi awareness, as the ancient terminologies would indicate. So let's begin our meditation today in this awareness, that the goal would be to shift from gross body to subtle body. So let's begin our meditation. Let's sit in a comfortable position, back as straight as possible. Keep the head facing forward, chin parallel to the ground. Give attention to the mental field. This is the field in which the ego, consciousness, dominates the mental field. Begin to observe this field. It is this field in which we create thoughts, ideas, beliefs, vision. And bring that state or space into a state of silence. Silence is the ground state in the mental field of space. It is a ground state. It is a ground zero state. So it's extremely important not to identify with thoughts. Now, we are habituated to thinking. So thoughts will arise in the mind from sheer habit. If they do, just observe in a more detached way. And in that detachment, choose to say in silence. But not just ordinary silence, expansive awareness of the mental space. Our mental space is part of a universal mind. And everybody's thinking in that universal mind. That's why we can transfer thoughts to each other. Or we can become telepathic. Become comfortable with a silent mind. This is a necessary practice for shifting consciousness. The breath can help you to become more silent. Breathing out slowly and comfortably. Take your attention down the body as you breathe out, as you empty the lungs completely. And bring your attention up and along the spine, spinal column, as you breathe in, slowly and comfortably. Unconsciously. The breath for meditation is Ujjayi, the ocean-sounding breath. By controlling the epiglottis, we're able to produce this beautiful sound of Ujjayi, like the sound of the ocean, the gentle sound of the waves. Stay in this rhythmic breathing. And as you do that, give attention to the center of the eyebrows. It's where it can direct you to the energy center of the mind that is in the brain. It's an energy point. The moment you can locate this energy point in your consciousness, or feel a pressure there, or energetic pull, focus on that. If not, just focus the breath there. Silent mind. Expansive mind. Open mind. Infinite mind. Begin to observe this awareness. This is subtle awareness, subtle energy awareness, subtle body awareness. The mental field is in the subtle body. The brain and physical field is in the human experience. The spiritual experience is the spiritual body or the subtle body. Now you can bring the mind more into balance by managing the energy of the senses, physical senses. And to do this, you need the spinal column that is energetically associated with the physical senses. So give attention to the root of the spinal column by focusing on the perineum area. And contracting the muscle of that area as you breathe in. And as you begin the out breath, you begin to relax it as you breathe out. So you create a relationship from the brain stem, the third eye, and the base of the spine. This will help the physical senses to be more under your control. As you breathe into the belly, focus on that part of the spine that's associated with that area. As you breathe into the lower rib cage and chest, focus on the center of the chest, the spinal center. As you breathe into the throat area, focus on the brainstem area and the medulla, and then the third eye. So there's spinal column awareness. So now you're going deeper into subtle body awareness. When you focus on navel, focus on vitality in the core of your body. It's an energy, the fire energy. Take a moment to breathe into the navel area. Deeply opening up the belly to breathe and focus on that vital energy of the core. Now, if you've been slowly shifting, you will feel more lightness of being. The heaviness of the gross body tends to fade away into more lightness, buoyancy. Even one can say floating. Anchored only by the breath and the focus at your core that holds you to body awareness. Now, those of you who are coming into the energy field, you join me in producing this field across our collective group. So open your awareness to supporting those who are seeking to lift your consciousness, to shift your consciousness. Just open your awareness to the infinite space. Now this has to be done slowly, with a pause at the end of the in-breath and a pause at the end of the out-breath. And this is how we shift slowly into subtle body awareness. The moment we can feel that fire of vitality in the core, we're in subtle body awareness. The moment we can feel that chi or prana, or that revitalizing energy at the core, we are into subtle body awareness. Subtle body awareness gives an unburdening of the physical body as you feel more lightness of being, anchored by your focus at the energy points. Now shift the consciousness to the chest area and to the heart, to the emotional space, focusing on emotional energy and love. And really open up the chest to breathe. Now this is an even more powerful experience in a subtle sense as you begin to feel even lighter. The navel is associated with fire energy. The heart is associated with air energy. So there's a lightness of being. That is even greater than when you focus in the lower area. Open your awareness to it. Slow breathing, the brow center should have been involved in all of this. You're still breathing into the belly area, but not inflating the belly so much. You're going straight up to the heart. Find that natural rhythm of the breath that supports your centering and shifting. This brings you into the space of lightness and lovingness, and the flow of loving energy into the space. As you breathe in, you center there. As you breathe out, just channel the energy of love into the space, observing the lightness of being. The shift will come. It has to come. Cause must lead to effect. Stay there for as long as you feel that you're being nurtured. It's healing, this space, the subtle space of love. And then take your attention to the throat. Throat is space consciousness, silence, and hearing in the inner space and outer space. It leads you to the ether, Akash. Breathe into the throat and hold the awareness of expansiveness in the mind, expansiveness in the heart. Expansiveness in the complete energy field. And then take your attention to the center of the eyebrows as you deepen the mental centering. Now there should be a connection from the brow to the entire spinal column. It is the extension of your energy field. And the more you're within your subtle body, the lighter you feel. This is a practice that's extremely important. Now we practice what is called a microcosmic orbit, like creating an orbit in the energy field, just like planets orbit around the sun. We can create an orbit along the spinal column. And think of the sun as the physical fire, the core, and the moon at the center of the mind. All the planets, major planets, are associated with the chakras. The throated Mercury, the heart with Venus, the navel with Mars, the sacral with Jupiter, and the root with Saturn. So we are actually making an orbit along the planetary energies. So with your intention, you move along the spinal column in orbit. And with the subtle breath, so on the upward breath you move from the Saturn energy at the root up and along the spinal column. Right up to the back of the neck, that's associated with the eyebrows, the moon, the mind. And then the out breath, from the nose you breathe down. From the center of the eyebrows you breathe down to the sun energy at the root, at the navel, and then completely out, with the whole idea of extending these energies to the body. The tip of the tongue should be touching the palate, to maintain energy connection. And nourish your body. Nourish your entire being with this awareness. Pushing the breath down, bringing the breath in, using the microcosmic orbit. That's an orbit in the subtle field. extend your awareness to the global field, that we may welcome that energy, the global energy, into our field, with the intention of channeling very positive energy into that field, in the awareness that there is a divine antidote or solution or remedy for anything. Maybe not human, but certainly divine. And let's bring our consciousness back to the gross world. So even as we center into subtle with our mind and heart and vital body, we anchor ourselves in the gross body and its connection to our gross world. Body is important, body is precious, body is a gift from nature, and body is intelligent in its own way. Let's bring the breath now into gross experience by breathing more of the air into the lungs. Energizing your physical senses. When you do, you will feel grounded in the body and the senses once more, and more in touch with your gross world. That's where the physical challenge across our world is, in the gross world. And we need the fortitude and the energy of the inner world to meet that challenge. So let's center our consciousness in that divine source of being within us and within the world and universe. And create our affirmation for this day. I center my consciousness in the source of my being, the God within me. That source of infinite peace, love, goodness, wisdom, and vitality. I stay centered there, that my every thought, word, and action in this day be a blessing to my world. I give thanks for all the blessings I have received, and I pray to continue to be worthy. Om, peace, peace, peace. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And I cannot emphasize how important subtle body awareness is, and subtle being centering. Extremely important. The enemy that we see, the perceived enemy or the challenge from the universe that we're having, can be met in the most powerful way from the inner space. So in our inner space, in our subtle space, in our soul space, we can generate fearlessness, wisdom, lovingness, compassion, and we can develop intuitive awareness that our humankind can find a solution to eradicate the physical challenge. What subtle body awareness does, it gives you an awareness of the chakras within you, centers of energy and consciousness. there's a distinct difference with how I center my mind after spiritual awakening and deeper experiences to how my mind was before. The first 20 years of my life was scattered mind, dispersed energy, and no true control over the mind, especially when in my 20th year, my mind just appeared totally uncontrollable. It was the spiritual awakening or the heightening of my energy to spiritual identity that brought about all the management of energy in my space. The management of the thought space, the management of the emotional space, and the management, by extension, with the vital space of the body. Throughout the years, that has been my strength. That has been my source of center of action. This is the awareness that our world needs to die. But of course, this cannot be had so easy by just wishing it. You have to be ready and receptive to make this shift. You need to have a desire to make this shift, first of all, that you're not satisfied with the status quo and you want to shift from it. That desire has to come, because the desire is a call to the universe for help, for support. The moment that desire comes in there and you begin to implore help from the universe, then you're making the way for information to enter your mind. And you open your mind intuitively when you begin to ask for that support, and then ideas will come into the mind. And if your mind is not so receptive, the ideas will come into the information field, internet, people. But definitely support will come. And the clearer your problem is in your mind, the more specific the solution will come, and the more clearer you're asking for support, the more the answers will come to you in a very clear way. It's the law of the universe. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be open to you. Biblical saying. So you need to desire change. And then the universe will engage you when you are ready to listen, to observe, to contemplate, and to implement. The universe will certainly support you. So my intention is to continue to support you during these days, and so what 40 days is going to turn into a support period of spiritual discipline, sadhana. And I'm going to take you slowly through this transitioning from body consciousness into energy consciousness, and the channel energies there into your individual field and into the collective field. If you can become ready and receptive. I delight in this knowledge. I delight in this awareness. And I delight in this gift that has been a blessing of being able to live in my energy body, live in and from my energy body. And so can you. We are all equal. So I think it's a marvelous opportunity to change our center of focus and to explore an energy field, an information field, a wisdom field that is far greater than the physical. So we're going to make drastic changes to our 40 days, and we are working hard on the information on that. And very soon as we can have it, we're going to send information to you. And in the coming days. The 40 days I want to tell you, I know some of you become distressed, I don't have money, this is costly. whatever it may be. We are going to make the 40 days accessible to all. And appeal to those who can be generous, who have the means to be more generous, to offer us donations that can support our work. So we're going to tell you how you can do that, and give you all the information surrounding that. And those of you who cannot give us money, you can give us the support in the mental field. Money is not the only thing that runs everything. Spirit is required too, energy is required. And so we also appreciate your energetic support every time you join the stream and pray with us and meditate with us and do these practices with us. You are supporting the field. So that's a very generous support that you're giving. So in any which way you can give, and those of you who have been sending things to the ashram in support, now you know that the donations will be far less. So we want to thank you for that. And those of you who pledged support, we want to thank you for that. So with this being said, of course, there is no conversations in the afternoon today. And we see what happens tomorrow. But what I want to do in the morning, tomorrow, I want to implement the Zoom again so I can see your faces in the global community. I enjoy doing that in my conversations. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to ask my group, my EV team, to bring back that personal view that I can have with you or contact through the Zoom application. And of course, it's also going to be on the YouTube. And we'll give you some information as to how that will be. So I'm going to close this session now, and I know that we'll be streaming our yoga exercises or fitness exercise, and we would ask you to join. What time would that be? 7:30? 7:30. So let me wish you a marvelous day, everyone. Namaskar.